Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lightworker Diaries. My name is Tiffany Marling, and I am the writer and creator behind the diaries. I want to start out this episode by just sharing a quick celebration. On the day that I am recording this is the 5-year birthday of the Lightworker Diaries. And I almost can't believe that 5 years ago, I had this idea to sit down and start a blog where I would share my stories and personal experiences with the world. I don't have a English degree. I don't have a lot of writing courses under my belt. I just knew that my stories were meant to be told. And so I started writing them. And what has unfolded has been this most beautiful and expansive and soul-challenging experience of becoming the writer deeply in devotion to my soul and my heart and sharing those stories with people like you. So whether this is the first time you're hearing me or reading my content or the 500th time, I just want to say thank you so much for being on this journey with me. Even those few people who have been with me from the very beginning, your support has meant more to me, and knowing that you are out there reading has been part of what has kept me going in those times that it has been most challenging. So thank you so much for being here. On that note, I want to talk to you about a goal that I recently set for the remainder of this year. I was feeling into what would be the most exciting, alive, fun, enjoyable, expansive, and with less than 100 days left in this year. In fact, I looked it up the other day and I think it said something to the tune of 65 days left. I wanted to come up with something that would feel inspiring, but also a little bit challenging, because that's kind of how I roll. I like something that causes me to stretch, something that I get done at the end and I was like, heck, yes, I did it. And it wasn't just a piece of cake. So as I was leaning into that energy and exploring what would be the most fun, and this was across all aspects of my life. This wasn't just my writing, but this was my health, my wealth, my hobbies, my connections, my relationships. And the thing that rose to the top kind of surprised me. But it rose to the top with such energy and excitement that I was like, of course, that's the thing. And I want to talk to you today because it's a goal that you will see, experience, and feel alongside of me. And if you are a writer, perhaps you have felt the limitations that I'm going to share with you as well. So my goal is between now and the end of 2025, 60-ish days from now, I am going to grow my subscriber following on Substack from 170 people to over 1,000. And when I first said I'm going to have over 1,000 subscribers, it felt natural. It felt like the obvious next step. It felt like a stretch. It's not something that I can flip a switch and they're there tomorrow. But also it didn't feel so outlandish that I didn't know where to start. And so with that goal in mind, I was sitting down and thinking, okay, why don't I already have that? You heard me right at the beginning of this episode. I said, I've been doing this for 5 years. So if I've been doing this for 5 years, why do I not already have 1,000 subscribers on my Substack? And the first thing that came up, and I knew this was going to be the biggest block, is my fear that if I had that many people, it would change my ability to write freely. Right now, I don't have a ton of eyes on my stuff. And that affords me wonderful, miraculous freedom because there's a part of me that says, no one cares. And because no one cares, I can write whatever the heck I want to. Because no one cares, no one's reading it. It doesn't matter what I write or how I write it. I just get to speak from my heart because that's what I want to do. And when I went, one layer down from that and I said, what if writing was my livelihood? What if I got paid to do this? that fear got even louder. That fear that money changes my ability to write freely reverberated within my brain and my body. Because suddenly, if someone's paying me, my mind says, we need to do more of what they paid me for. And I don't want to be that kind of writer. I don't want to write lists. I don't want to write how-to articles. I don't want to do a deep dive on the history of the blah, blah, blah. Because that's not the stuff I'm passionate about. And you might be listening to this and think, she just wants to write about herself. How self-centered. Great. You can stop listening now. Thank you for your time. I want to write about the stories that are making a difference to me because I don't think I'm alone. And I don't think that holding my stories within me is the greatest act of service that my soul wants to live in this world. I didn't choose to have children in this lifetime. That just was not a path that was one that lit me up. And I know there's some amazing people in this world who are phenomenal parents. And their children will continue to live the legacy of those individuals. I don't have that. I didn't choose that. And I'm okay with that. And that is all the more reason why I write my stories. Because they're meant to be shared. I didn't come into this world to live behind a curtain in quiet solitude and not have an impact in this world. And whether you chose your legacy to come in the form of little humans, stories, music, art, businesses, missions, whatever your legacy is, I hope you speak about it with such veracity and passion that it lives on for decades, centuries beyond you. Coming back to my fear that my writing wouldn't be able to stand on its own under the weight of other people's eyes or the weight of someone else's money saying, this is what I vote for, this is what I want more of. There's also this part of me that says, great, you've got subscribers, but if they're not paying, how are you going to make a living? Do I have to go back into the corporate world? Do I have to continue to build someone else's dream? When deep down in my soul, in my heart of hearts, I know I'm meant to be a writer. I know I'm meant to be a creator. I know I'm meant to be a speaker and a teacher. I'm doing the things that I love. And yet the world hasn't quite caught up with me yet. And my mind says, we know how to make money. You go sacrifice yourself. You go suffer. That's high value. And my sweet little heart said over and over and over again, that's not our path. We learned that way so we wouldn't have to do it again. And what I'm creating right now, this timeline that I'm living right now, this quantum leap that I have jumped into and am embodying right now, says I get to be me. I get to live in a sense of authentic expression, creative freedom, and meaningful connection. And the universe will support me in that. It is in these moments that I have to remind myself that my writing has made money. I have evidence that that is true. I have paid subscribers on my Substack. I have a book. I have multiple books actually available on Amazon, and I'm selling weekly, 20 to 30 copies a week. I'm paid as a writer, even though my mind tells me I'm not yet qualified or good enough to do that. And so instead of pulling back, shrinking down, limiting myself anymore, I'm doubling down. I'm going all in on my vision and my dream. Is it scary? Heck yes, it is. But if it wasn't, would it even be worth it? My hunch is if you're listening to this, you probably have something that you've been dreaming about for a long time as well. And this is probably something that you know in your heart would bring you so much joy and satisfaction, and yet your brain is saying, but how? I don't know how. And I want to remind you that that dream chose you for a reason. That mission, that message, that story, that book, whatever it is that calls to you, that wakes you up in the middle of the night, that makes you want to cry because you love it so much. You don't need to know every single step. I sure as heck don't know how I'm going to create 1,000 subscribers, but I know it'll happen. And I'm willing to show up each and every day, place a hand on my heart, take several deep breaths, and say, how? Show me the way. And then listen. I share this with you because I know the masculine way to get 1,000 subscribers. I know the logical steps that would get me there. I've done that. It's exhausting. It can be done, and it's exhausting. And I don't want to play that game. I want to see how fun, easy, deeply satisfying, and wondrous it can be. I want to see what happens when I drop into the frequency of already being the writer with 1,000 subscribers and see what she has to say. How does she move? What does she believe? What does she no longer believe? Who does she hang out with? And what do they talk about? Those are the questions that I'm asking myself. Every morning when I sit down to write, I empty all my brain's junk out onto the page to be clear-minded. And then I ask my heart, what wants to be written through me today? There are always words that come. Always. I never sit and stare at a blank page for long. Your heart has a message for you too. So I wanted to just bring this to closure by just saying that I hope you take the moment to allow your dream to grow. And even if it's that just taking 2 minutes a day to say, how can I be of service to you? Speaking to your dream. And then taking that little baby step and knowing that that's enough for the day, I hope you do it. Because I know there is something that is living within you, that is calling you forth, that is asking you to rise up and become the fullest expression of you. And I will say it a million times, it chose you for a reason, because it knows that you can do it. If this was valuable, resonant for you, please subscribe. Maybe share this with somebody who might need to hear it. I am just starting out on my podcast journey, and I am learning so much as I go. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for celebrating 5 years of the Lightworker Diaries with me. If you're not already following along on Substack, please go check it out. All of my content is available there. Just thank you. I really appreciate you.